Brace for water restrictions. That warning from the National Water Commission, NWC, months before the summer of 2021. In addition to explaining the early warning this year, the entity gave an update on current and upcoming measures to address water issues in sections of the island.
So, as you heard in that primetime news clip, in February, the island is already being cautioned about water restrictions for the upcoming summer months ago. So joining us now via phone is Andrew Cannon. He's Corporate Communications Manager at the National Water Commission. He's going to give us a rundown on plans to hopefully make water more accessible to all Jamaicans. Good morning, Andrew.
Morning, Andrew.
Morning, Archibald. Morning, Neville. Not hearing you too well, though. I don't know if you could speak up, but a pleasant morning to both of you. How are you this morning?
We're very well. Thanks so much.
Yeah, man. Give thanks.
First, this question of the dry season. So when are we talking about? Because we've been hearing these warnings way back in February.
Yes, indeed. All right. That dry season of which we speak would be like the summer months. But what we've noticed over the past couple of months, starting from late last year, the dry season has been lasting so much longer. So it's hard to pin down a point as to say it is the dry season. Right now, though, there are dry conditions being experienced right across the country, and as a result, a number of the NWC systems are being affected in terms of limited flow to those kind of systems that we can treat water to distribute to our customers.
Really?
I must say, things have been fluctuating at both the Mona Reservoir and the Hermitage Dam in recent weeks. For example, within a month period, that was from February 4 to March 4, there was a dip at the Hermitage Dam from 99.6% to 87.2%. So what we've seen are these fluctuations as a result of the dry spell, and as we speak, there is not a consistent level of rainfall that's feeding a number of our systems.
So the plan then is to improve the infrastructure so that you can have more water, and you're working on a number of projects. What are some of the major ones?
That is correct. All right. No, it's very instructive that a lot of the infrastructure that the NWC has is quite old. So as a result, we have to do a lot of rehabilitation of a number of our systems. Right now, for example, we are improving water to the Mandeville-Manchester area with a greater Mandeville water system. Mandeville and Manchester, they pose particular challenge because of the location in terms of being in high elevated areas. So that is something that we are working on as we speak. Interestingly as well, we want to improve the pipeline structure that feeds Hermitage. So we are going to improve the Yaras pipeline. All of that is ongoing. In addition to all of that, we are looking at ways to see if we can augment certain wells, especially in the Ligani Plains area, so that we can have supply for those areas as well. So quite a number of projects are taking place, especially also in St. Catherine, where we are carrying out what is called a phase of the non-revenue water project. Now, Neville and RG, it is quite known that what we suffer a lot of, many of the pipes, they suffer from leaks, not only in the corporate area, but also in Portmore. If we can find a way to deal effectively with those leaks and fix them as best as possible, we would be wasting less and having more to supply to our customers. Because we really have to brace ourselves for some kind of an increased demand for water from a number of our customer bases. The number of high-rise buildings going up in the corporate area says something, although when construction is taking place above the third floor, it is the responsibility of the developer to provide water. So we see that we need to implement a number of these capital projects to ensure that we meet the growing demand, not only for Kingston, but also for Portmore and also for parts of Falmouth.
Andrew, what do you mean by if we can find a way to fix those leaks?
All right. What has happened, Neville, is that those leaks is not quick thing of just going in and just fixing the leaks. The leaks first have to be detected. So a lot of preparatory work has to be done to really identify those leaks and fix those leaks. And fixing those leaks is going to take infrastructural work over time. So even the non-revenue water project for Portmore that is now underway, we recognize that to improve the water supply for Portmore, we have to identify those leaks and fix those leaks. What we've also found is that quite a number of our customers, they are not registered, or are quite a number of persons, I should say, they are not registered with the NWC. Because of this non-registration, sometimes it is difficult to track and deal with the demand for water. So quite a number of socially challenged areas have been identified to let them be legitimate NWC customers. And when they are those kind of customers now, we can know how to measure the distribution properly so that we ensure that there is effective demand being met right across the board.
Yeah, we just showed an interview that we did, I think was last year, and I started by saying every year it seems like we're going to have drought, we have any water. I think the customers...
that is a legitimate concern in terms of hearing those kind of concerns year after year. But let me just say a couple of things. One, these infrastructure projects that we are now doing, there is logically a lag between doing the projects and when the projects are going to take effect. All right? So, for example, we had done a lot of work in the Kingston area, in the capital, to improve water supply in a number of areas through implementing the non-revenue water project. These things take time. Right now, as we speak, we are improving the pipeline along Spanish Town Road that serves a number of communities along Marcus Garvey Drive, stretching into central Kingston and downtown Kingston. That work has started, and that work is expected to be completed within a couple of years or so, all right? Now, the reason these things take so much time is because the infrastructure level is quite old. For example, that Yalas pipeline is 35 years old, believe it or not, all right? So there's that issue in terms of things taking time. Another issue is we are living in unusual times with respect to the dry season and the dry spell. Archibald asked a good question in terms of when does the dry season start. We've been having such a long period of no rain that it really kind of forces us to really implement drought mitigation plans from early. And another issue now, Neville, but persons might not want to hear this, but the NWC, we have a problem with persons paying their bills. As a result of the non-payment of bills now, so we are kind of, cash strapped to do a lot of things that we want to do, including our projects and paying for the energy costs and so on and so forth. So let me just use this opportunity again to just tell persons that there is a multiplier effect on a number of these things. If you pay your bill on time and in full, we have more resources to do more things as well, and we keep praying for more rain. So it's a multiplicity of factors that really, would have caused us to be in this situation from year to year.
And at the same time, you have to be tackling people, as you said, who aren't paying their bills. So you're going on another drive?
Because what we found is that even though we had a drive to tell persons if they come in and pay their bills, they're going to get concessions and they're going to get a reprieve, not many persons took up the offer, all right? And what we found, incidentally, Neville and Archie, the number of persons who took up the offer were persons who would have been paying their bills anyway, but because of COVID-19, they would have had some economic setback, all right? But what we're saying to persons, yes, we know the times are challenging. COVID-19 is affecting everybody, but please put aside a little money to pay your water bill, because the water bill remains one of the lowest utility bills. And yet, I can tell you, Neville and Archie, there are persons who pay scant regard for the payment of the bill.
Andrew,
it is when we show up to do the disconnections, then persons are, telling us, of their concerns. But we are saying, if you are in arrears, you can come in and talk to us or visit us online to settle the bill on time and in full. Because if we don't get those kind of monies, we need the money to provide the water, to treat the water, to truck the water when there is drought, to pay for the energy bill and to pay the workers. So we have a chronic delinquency problem, and it's something that needs to be addressed so that we can have less of these problems that we are having now.
Final question from me. It seems like the entities like who fix roads don't get together when they're fixing roads. So we get a nice little smooth road and all of a sudden
someone digs it
so
up.
it dig up again because I hear NWC have to lay a pipe. Do you guys have a chat before these things are done so we just do everything one time?
All right, that's a good question, Neville, and from time to time I get the calls. Is the NWC waiting to dig up the road? Why don't we have a plan of action? All right. When we had the tour of that major upgrade that is going to take place along the Spanish Town Road that I spoke of earlier, the Prime Minister was there, and it was an issue that was put to him by a journalist. The fact of the matter is, even though we have some way to go, there has been an improvement in the communication between ourselves and the National Works Agency, where the road rehabilitation works are concerned after we fix a pipe. Because our job is really to put in the infrastructure, but what we need now is improved dialogue between ourselves and the NWA, so that the road is fixed immediately after we've done the pipeline work. So as I said, there's improved communication taking place between us and the NWA. It remains a work in progress, and we do believe that it can be improved in that regard.
Right.
What we've done, though, in terms of the laying of pipes, as an example, as I said, we're doing the Portmore non-revenue water project. And what we have a schedule as to where we're going to go to lay the pipes and which roads are going to be affected. And of course, implemented in all of that is the whole issue of ensuring that the roads are rehabilitated very soon after the pipes are laid. So it's something that we are noting, it's something that we are trying to improve on, and improvements are going to take place where that is concerned in the Portmore area with the non-revenue water project, as well as along the Spanish Town Road where we are laying those pipes. Because it's part of those things that are built into the contract, and the dialogue is speak with the NWA as well. Contract is with the NWA as well.
Stay safe, Andrew. God bless.
Right, and all the best to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. Andrew Cannon, Corporate Communications Manager at the National Water Commission.
And coming up, a closer look at Rastafari street art. Please stay with us.